Marvel Rivals just opened up its doors again, featuring 2 new characters, that being Captain America and Winter Soldier. Today I go over how they work in detail so you can stay in the loop. Let's dive into it. Starting off, we have the Marvel Rivals new Vanguard, that being Captain America. Captain America's primary attack, Sentinel Strike, is a 2-part melee attack. The first 2 hits you land against an enemy will deal a decent chunk of damage and charge up your shield. Once you've landed 2 hits on an enemy, your shield will be charged up, and for the next 5 seconds, any primary attack, instead of being a melee attack, will instead have Captain America throw his shield towards a target, dealing a little less than twice the amount of damage than it would have during a normal melee attack. The thrown shield has a range of about 25 meters and is surprisingly forgiving if you overshoot your target, especially to the right of it. On hit, the shield has a chance of ricocheting off your target to a nearby enemy if the enemy is close enough to the trajectory of your shield as it heads back towards you, or just close enough to your enemy. Your current charges and how much time is left until you lose your shield is displayed on your HUD. Captain America's first ability is the leading dash. Holding this key allows him to immediately start sprinting in any direction he is going. There is no stamina or maximum distance that you can run. Once you are sprinting, you can hit the jump key to perform a special jump which launches you forward as well as about 3 meters vertically. As long as you are moving forward or to the left or to the right, then you can instantly start a sprint and immediately jump by hitting both of the sprint and leap keys at the same time. While you cannot jump perfectly in place, you can still sort of accomplish the same effect or goal by sprinting, jumping, and then turning around as you continue holding the forward input, and this will practically put you in the same place you jump from. If you're focusing one enemy, I can see some value in punching twice, then insta-jumping above them to hit them twice with the shield from above in order to throw them off and take minimal damage. That being said, if you do go for this technique, then you need to be aware of the Super Soldier Slam, which can also be triggered if you hit your primary fire key when you are at the apex of the special jump. Enemies hit by the special jump will take some damage and be knocked airborne. Keep in mind that if you try using it at the top of your leading dash jump, then the Super Soldier Slam only can be triggered straight down if you're at the maximum height of your jump, so about 3 meters above ground. That means if you jump onto a higher ground than you were initially, then it just simply won't work. Conversely, it will be a lot more lenient if you try activating it from a higher ground. It is worth noting that while you cannot slam straight down when you jump onto this higher ground, you can still slam far ahead of you instead. That being said, this doesn't mean that you need to use a leading dash to perform a Super Soldier Slam. Captain America can also perform the slam as long as he is airborne, and has been more than 3 meters off of the ground at one point during the fall. Keep in mind that despite the blue circle looking like where the enemy is within the circle actually matters, it does not seem to actually matter, and they will be knocked up and take the same amount of damage whether they are in the middle of the circle or at the very edge of it. Captain America's second ability, Vibrating Energy Saw, manually throws Cap's shield towards the crosshair. This throw has the same range as if the shield throw is triggered by the primary, so about 25 meters, but deals slightly more damage. It is also guaranteed to ricochet to any nearby targets. The shield will travel to any nearby targets, and it will also travel between several targets. It's not just one ricochet. The shield will travel to any nearby targets within range, dealing damage to them until it eventually returns to you. Unlike the primary fire shield throw, the Vibrating Energy Saw can also be bounced off of surfaces, in which case it will home towards the nearest enemy after it hits its target. So if an enemy is behind a wall or behind some cover, you could just throw it onto the ground and it will home and find them itself. That being said, it will lose some of its potency on every bounce, so if you want to optimize your damage, then you will want to go for a direct hit instead of the style points from the bounce. Captain America's third ability, Liberty Rush, makes Cap raise his shield and charge in the direction of the crosshair, dealing damage towards any target that he hits on the way. The Liberty Rush has a range of about 13 meters and will only work straight ahead. You cannot use it to dash upwards or downwards or to the sides, only where you aim. Obviously, if you want to gain some altitude, then it can be combined with the special jump to get some height, which you then can follow up with a dash. Captain America's secondary fire, Living Legend, makes you hold up your shield. Not only will the shield defend you from incoming damage, but it will also deflect incoming enemy abilities back towards where you are pointing it with a slight spread or slightly random direction. This means that the farther away you are from your target, the more likely you are to miss them when the shots are deflected. It's also worth noting that you can not only deflect enemy primary fire, but you can also deflect abilities and your ultimates as well. The shield does not cover your entire body, and Captain America can be killed if you shoot his toes. Also, we tested the interactions of the deflect against almost every ability in the game. I'll spare the exact details not to make this video way too long, but the general gist of how it works is that the shield acts like a wall which cuts the line of sight between Cap and any line of sight or area of effect abilities. Any projectiles that are coming your way that hit the shield can and will get deflected. The largest and only exceptions that we found are Penny's mines that ignore Cap and her spider web that snares him right through it. And for whatever reason, Namor's ultimate just ignores the shield and hits you. It cannot be blocked no matter what. But yeah, just remember that projectiles get reflected and AoE gets cut off, and that's all you need to know. Huge thank you to Hogs for helping me with actually finding it. Speaking of ultimates, Captain America's ultimate, Freedom Charge, grants Captain America and teammates within 5 meters an additional 300 bonus health, as well as additional movement speed for its entire duration of 10 seconds. Any damage taken to the bonus health will gradually heal up as long as you're within range until the ultimate runs out, after which all of the bonus health will disappear. As for team-ups, at the time of this video, Captain America only has 1. If you have a 4 on your team, then Captain America will gain access to Charge Aegis. Upon activation, Captain America receives a movement speed boost and has all of his attacks turn into shield throws. Unlike his primary ability or his secondary ability, these shields will not ricochet between targets and will just hit one at a time. The power-up lasts for 10 seconds. But that's enough about Mr. America, so what about his dear friend, the new duelist, Bucky, or Winter Soldier? Bucky's primary fire, Rotterstern, I definitely messed up that pronunciation, is a high damage 2-shot per magazine pistol capable of 2-shot headshotting enemies on the very weak end of the health spectrum and leave the weak to medium ones with a sliver of health left. It can also be combined with other abilities or a melee for a 1-shot combo. Any shots from the Rotterstern will penetrate the enemy and hit anyone who ends up being behind him as well. From my testing, it appears that the penetration does not impact the amount of damage on any consecutive targets. You will deal full damage, assuming they're still within the same range. Winter Soldier's first ability, Trooper's Fist, makes Bucky dash towards the crosshair to any target up to a little less than 13 meters away. And this has 2 stages. Upon initial contact, the target will take damage and follow Bucky for the entire duration of the dash's path. At the end of his dash, Bucky will perform an uppercut, dealing additional damage to and knocking any enemies within his range upwards. Winter Soldier's second ability, Tainted Voltage, sends a ball of energy towards the crosshair, dealing damage to and temporarily slowing any enemies within range. As with any of our abilities, the Tainted Voltage ball will also penetrate enemies and deal the same amount of damage no matter how many enemies have been penetrated. Unlike his primary, this projectile does not seem to have any damage fall off, meaning it will deal the same amount of damage across all ranges, assuming you can line up the shot. Winter Soldier's secondary fire, Bionic Hook, lets you hold and charge up a hook with a range spanning between 10 to 25 meters, depending on whether you let go immediately after starting it or let it charge up all the way. Enemies hit by the hook will take a little bit of damage and then get sucked into you. The hook is not instant, as it not only has a charge up animation, but once you release, it also takes a little while to actually reach its target. The direction of the hook will be locked once you let go of it, meaning that if you want to hit a moving target, then you will need to aim ahead of where they are about to go. You will not be able to course correct once the ability has started. As with any other abilities, the Bionic Hook will also penetrate enemies, meaning you can hook not only one, but if you're lucky, the enemy team with 1 cooldown. You can cancel the Bionic Hook after you have started it by hitting the primary key, but keep in mind that canceling it will also put it on the same cooldown as the view through it. And all of these abilities tie into Winter Soldier's passive, the Ceaseless Charge. Using any abilities in your kit will both automatically reload your weapons for you, in addition to give you additional bonus health on use. The Trooper's Fist will give you 50 bonus health, Tainted Voltage will give you 30, and the Bionic Arm will also give you 30. Using these abilities in tandem will add the health to a additional bonus total health. It's also worth mentioning that using Winter Soldier's ultimate will give you an additional 50 bonus health per use, up to a total of 3 stacks, meaning an additional 150 in total, but more on that later. The bonus health lasts for about 3 seconds after its respective ability has been used or after you've taken that damage and it's been destroyed. So, about that ultimate. Winter Soldier's ultimate is absolutely insane. Activating it immediately launches Bucky upwards into the sky, where he slowly floats until he falls down onto the ground, slamming it and dealing damage to any nearby enemies, as well as marking them for culling. You can also cut the floating short by hitting your primary fire key wherever you are aiming, which dashes you right where you are aiming. Marked enemies will get this red bar on the left side of their health bar if you or a teammate deals enough damage to cross into the red zone for the next 5 or so seconds, then the enemy will instantly die. If a marked enemy dies as they are marked for culling, then your Kraken impact will receive a full cooldown reset, which lets you pull off the ability again. This will let you build your bonus health charge, as well as allow you to keep moving around whilst dealing an insane amount of damage onto the enemy team in a short period of time. Oh, and you might have noticed that some of the enemies that we've been shooting have this icon floating above their head. This means that their health is low enough that if you use your Kraken impact, it will kill them. Keep in mind that the icon only appears if your ultimate is fully charged and the enemy's health bar is visible to you. At the time of this video, Winter Soldier also has a team up with Rocket Raccoon. Once Rocket Raccoon activates Infinite Grit, then the Winter Soldier will have infinite ammo, as well as a noticeably faster fire rate as long as he remains within the range and line of sight of the ammo reloader. The reloader will stay up for about 10 seconds. All of this combined makes Winter Soldier a super fun and a super strong choice in Marvel Rivals. And of course, if you guys are interested in my first impressions of these two heroes and some gameplay, check out the video on the screen. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure that you hit the like and let me know if you want me to cover future hero releases down the line. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.